everyone. Welcome to Mark Isaac Potter Presents. Today, we're going to do something a little bit different than usual. We're going to talk to a leader in the Cleveland area whom I believe is going to be someone very well known in our world and in our country. And I mentioned this to her a couple hours ago, and it was news to her. And I said, bring in your Michelle Obama sub-self and get with the program. So she let me tell you, I'm sorry to be talking more than the guest, but this woman is doing amazing things in the world. She and her friends started an incredible nonprofit. She's an investment real estate person who knows it in and inside and out. She's a realtor. She's a mom. She's a wife. She's a great human being, a good Christian lady, if I may throw that in there. And I see her as an upcoming leader. So now that I put you on the spot, Danielle, what do you think?
Well, I
You gonna
think
announce your campaign for the presidency?
right.
Biden needs some help. You and
Now
Kamala.
it's right here with Mark Isaac Potter that I, Danielle Acosta,
There
will
we
be
go.
running.
I'm just
You
doing this for
know,
my own press. That'll be.
I think that I'm so grateful to you, Mark, because I needed to hear this today. I needed this confidence boost. I needed someone to say to me, you have something and you can follow these crazy dreams that you have. You can
Yes.
rise to the occasion because sometimes I just feel like I'm just kind of out here just chugging along and just kind of day by day just trying to make it, and things don't always work in the way that I think that they should. I don't always get the results from all the hard work that I put in. And
Yeah.
I don't always see it. I don't always see things circling back. And so I think to have someone like you who has so much experience, and who's been around so many different types of people and produced and has so many different experiences in your life. I need to do a show where I interview you one day because I'm
Oh, that's
sure
laughable. Yeah.
I don't know even the small tiny
that
percentage of
that's
your
not going to
experience.
happen. That's not going to happen. Like I said in the last show, as a contract killer, I have to be a little bit circumspect. Uh, have you? I didn't ask you this, so I don't know the answers, and I'm not trying to embarrass you, but it will be fun to embarrass you. I read some of the writings, just some, because I'm not a good reader. I read some of the writings of President Obama and Michelle Obama and what they've gone through to be as accomplished and wise as they are. And I read some of that stuff, like when President Obama wanted to run for president, he and Michelle didn't hit it off at first about
They
that.
did not agree
He
on
was
that.
not a happy puppy, tell you. So I see what you're saying about how things don't go right and you struggle and this goes wrong and stuff. But that is so beautiful that our leader that we want to help lead our country, he has that background. You're not just somebody who comes up there like a used car salesman and goes, well, my life has always been great. I'm the smartest person I know. I'm not trying to imitate anybody. I'm the smartest person who ever lived. And oh yeah, and he also has the audacity to say that he's done more for African Americans than any other person.
Mm.
The guy I'm talking about, whose name I won't say,
He who shall not be named.
yes, Donald Trump, is
Mm.
oh sorry, is I don't know. I see you as a leader, maybe and maybe not a political leader, but certainly a community leader. Um, I can't remember that guy. He's really, really famous. He's on TV now, and he started out as a protest guy. He used to be a really heavy set guy, and now he's thin. He's an older
Oh, Al Sharpton?
man. Yes, you remind me of somebody like that, or like I say, Michelle Obama, or people like that
Well,
who are
that's
just
high praise. I
well,
think
and Oprah. Oprah's been through crap. She's been through all
I
kinds of
think
stuff.
yeah, I think I probably, I don't think I have political aspirations. I've had people like I've had neighbors before say, have you considered running for city council or
Yeah, yeah,
school
yeah.
board? I do serve on the Shaker Heights, Ohio DEI committee, diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Okay, okay,
The mayor appointed me last year when
right.
they had a vacancy, and so I do serve on that committee. I have enjoyed it. It'll be a year in December. I started in December.
Okay,
I have enjoyed it. We've actually, made some progress and made some plans to really move Shaker Heights forward. Shaker Heights is an amazing community with an incredibly complicated past of discrimination and racial
okay,
strife,
okay, okay.
and so we're discussing, it's half joking, but we might actually do it, but we're discussing making our motto, Shaker Heights DEI. We're not perfect, but at least we try.
I love it.
That's our yeah,
Very nice.
that was our yeah, we had a meeting a couple months ago, and we were just talking through different plans and events that we're trying to plan to bring the communities together, and
Right.
all the different
Okay.
parts of Shaker Heights, because we tend to be more, we have a socioeconomic, separation, and so we're
Right.
diverse racially, but there's other, and so we were just talking about it, and it's like, well, we're not perfect, and then somebody said, but at least we try. And so now we're thinking about having t-shirts made, like
Very
Shaker
nice.
PEI. We're
Yeah,
not
very
perfect, but at
good.
least we try.
Very
Because
nice.
and the thought process behind that is that, you need to at least try. You're never going
Yeah,
to have perfect diversity,
yeah.
equity,
No,
or
no, no,
inclusion in your
never.
community. It's
Yeah,
never going to happen.
yeah.
But the point is, are you a community that tries?
Right.
Are you
Exactly.
is it really your goal? Is
Yeah,
it important to
yeah.
you as a community? And in Shaker Heights, although we still have segregation and inequity and all that kind of stuff, and crime and problems, like,
Right.
we really try. We
Okay.
really are
Well, and
trying.
being a community leader like that is very important. I mean, Dr. King was never a politician. And, I could name a lot of other people, Jesse Jackson and Pee Wee Herman, they were never, never politicians as far as I know, but you have a very good ability to verbalize to language what needs to be said. And somehow you encourage other people to implement that. And I don't know quite how you do it with your language, but I mean, you've encouraged me more than you think. You've said
Hmm.
some things to me in a text and stuff, like when I gave some money to the foundation, to your nonprofit. I mean, yes, it's true. I gave a lot more money than I could afford to give, and it was just a pittance. But I've done that before all my life. I mean, I'm always volunteering, and I'm always looking, and we've talked about Jesus in here, even though some turns some people off. I'm always thinking, Jesus is watching me. And there's that story in the Bible about the woman who gave,
The two coins.
everything she had,
Yeah.
and then Jesus compared it to the guy that had millions who gave like $10,000, which for him was
Yeah.
nothing.
Right.
And I've done that all my life. I mean, I've given my last dollar many, many times.
And
And
that's more value.
you're
Jesus
doing
values that more.
yes, you're doing something like that in the community. You're pulling people together. You're showing them how a leader conducts themselves. You're showing us, how does a leader conduct herself? And we look to that and we go, okay, if she can do that, then I can do this other thing over here. So it's
I hope
really
so.
very inspiring. It's very
and I
inspiring. And I'm,
and I hope so. I hope to inspire young Black women. I mentor high schoolers sometimes, and I want to inspire young Black women because I think a lot of times in our country, not just in our area here in the Cleveland area, but in the country, I mean, I feel like we're kind of low on the totem pole, right? Of
well,
of
yeah.
of
I mean, well,
preference,
don't even
right?
get me started. Don't even
So
get me started. No, it's,
whether
yeah.
it's economically, whether it's education, whether it's health
Mhm.
inequity, whether it's the standard of beauty, whether
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
when are we chosen, right? And
yeah.
so I think that I want to even as a realtor, when I'm doing my marketing, or when I'm presenting, or doing like a listing presentation to
Right,
clients,
right,
things
right,
like that. Like I don't want to, I don't really like doing, all these like contracts, and you have to be, like exclusive to me. Like I want to be chosen, right?
okay.
I want for the clients to choose me based on my skill set,
Right,
and
right,
based on how hard I will work for them,
right,
and based on the content of my character. So I want to be chosen. And I've told clients that, where they say like, well, do I have to sign a contract and only exclusive to you and whatever? And I say, I want you to choose me, and I will never hold you hostage with a contract.
right.
And
Okay,
if you're unsatisfied with my services, we will mutual release
okay.
amicably. But I want to be chosen, and I think that as an African American woman, that's kind of it's deep in there, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah,
we're
yeah,
rarely
yeah.
the preferred
Right.
choice.
No, right. Now the other thing I'm going to laud here is your having taken your life. I mean, to me, you're quite still a young person because I'm 114. I'll be 115 next year.
Not 114, Mark.
Um, you've taken your life. You've got your bachelor's. You went out and got your master's. You've done all this work to learn about investments and about real estate and all this stuff, and and you make good money at it, and that gives you a platform, a jumping off place to do these other things and have some power in the community. And I mean, that's just a statement. There's no question. The other statement, with no question, is thank you for helping to develop the young ladies, who are high school age and middle schoolers, who may not see themselves, because there's so many people out there discouraging them. There's so much racism in the United States. I could tell you, when I was a kid in my town, we got our first non-white person in town, and the people burnt the house to the ground that he was staying in.
Oh,
They burn it to the fucking ground.
yeah.
Yeah. So
That happened in
I,
Shaker. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, it's yeah. So for these young ladies to try to be motivated or encouraged by anyone to think bigger than themselves and contribute back and become leaders, that's a job that I feel like saying that's a job only you can do. As an old black, bald, white guy, white, black guy, yeah, wigger, uh, an old white guy, I can't do that. I can't go to a 11-year-old African American middle schooler and say blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But you can do that. And
Yeah.
that's we need that, because this next 50 years in this country, with a right wing Supreme Court and not the resurgence of Nazism so blatantly in our country, it's going to be a rough time. And I'm on my way out the door, so I've got to do something. No, I'm serious. No, I've got to do something to encourage other human beings who are willing to work for good to do that. And that's one of the reasons I do my show.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help you. You're already encouraged, you're already motivated, but it won't hurt to give you a little more encouragement. And you're building other leaders does the same for you. You know, if you're a leader and you're a wonderful leader, that's fine. But we only got one wonderful leader out of that.
Right,
You build
right,
other leaders
right,
and you teach them to build other
right.
leaders.
And
Then
that's
we
the
have a
goal.
movement. Yeah, then we have a
Goal.
movement
Yeah.
that all these right wing, literally fascists and Nazis can't bury everybody. You know.
Yeah, and that's the goal. Each one teach one. And I think that that's why my co-founders and I with the nonprofit, we all three of us are involved in some way in some sort of mentoring
Right.
for African young girls. We all
Right.
sit on boards of other
Yeah.
organizations that do that as well. And so
Right.
I think that and ironically, like you made the comment, that I see your assumption that I make good money. I do not. I am
Well,
not
it
wealthy.
looks but the way you conduct yourself,
I
the way you
I
conduct your
carry
personality, the way you dress, the way you language,
I
and knowing
carry
about
myself
investments, you really
in a
seem like
way.
someone who's, yeah,
Yeah, for future, my mom always said, like, just kind of like, you know get there, be what you want to
yeah,
be, right? And
be the
so
change. Yeah.
um but I have fought. My husband and I have fought. My husband is an immigrant. He was born and raised in Mexico City. And he was able to finish his bachelor's degree, and he was able to come here to the United States on work visa, as a contractor, as an IT contractor. He's an
Okay.
IT
Okay.
analyst now.
Okay.
But and I grew up in the ghetto. So I mean, we
Yeah.
both came from pretty much
Yeah.
nothing. And
Yeah.
and we didn't have parents to be able to guide us and teach us. My both of my parents and grandparents have passed away long ago. And he lost his mother, just 20 years ago. And so
Right.
we didn't really have that guidance of parents kind of like teaching us, what to do.
Right.
So,
No, I understand. Yeah.
we were renting and kind of scraping and struggling, and we had to go into a debt repayment program, because I am a 13-year now cancer survivor, and so we had to do a medical
Right.
bankruptcy,
Okay.
and so it took us 5 years to dig out of that, and
Right.
came out of that in 2018. And so it was then that I was able to follow my dream of going into real estate after we, were
Right.
able to
Got
come
through
out of
all
that.
that. Got through all that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so and when we first had our babies, our daughters are only 14 months apart. And so we had a 1 and a 2-year old, when we bought our
Boy.
house in Shaker. And I mean, barely scraped together that $3,000 for the down payment, right?
Oh boy.
And I think I remember us like borrowing, from his like 401k to like try to, to buy the house.
Yeah.
And so I opened a daycare center, and I ran a
Okay.
daycare center for 5 years so that I could
Oh
stay
my
home with the
God.
girls.
Wow.
Um, and so just there's been a lot of kind of scrape and and struggle. And so it's been my husband like kind of supporting our family while I go after this dream, right? But
Right. Right.
know
Right.
it's very unstable. Like sometimes I have commissions and sometimes I don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so
No, I hear you.
and so
Yeah.
it's one of those where it's like a lot of people do, assume like, oh, you're so visible and you're doing so much. You must have a ton of money.
Yeah.
No, like we are like
Ah, ah,
scraping for that grocery budget, right?
yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
most people. And so
Yeah.
it's funny because I appreciate to hear you say that, because I am projecting, right? I'm projecting,
Right.
we figure out how to travel, with a backpack, and
Right.
we figure out how to find that $200 flight, right? And so we're very creative. We are very
Okay.
creative. We
All
are
right.
not wealthy, but very creative.
Well,
Um,
yeah.
so
And the bottom line here is I just want to thank you as one human being to another for everything you do, for all the things you're going to be doing in the future, and just choosing to be a decent human being who uses her wisdom to make the world a better place. It's very nice. It's very beautiful.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you for this encouragement. I really
Well,
needed it. I really needed it.
you get it. You know, Lord knows what he's doing. I don't know what I'm doing, but God knows what he's doing. All right, folks, before I screw this up, we're going to do a wrap. And the wrap is, I say, today we've been visiting with the wonderful Danielle Acosta, who has a boatload of credits about everything in the world we've already gone through. And we just appreciate you watching. Consider doing things in your own community, helping out, like we all try to do. So thanks again for watching. Talk to you soon. God bless
Thank you,
you.
Mark. Thanks for watching.